This is the second of 3 Cardinal photos I'll be sharing here on Weekly 50. I shot this under basically the same conditions as last week's photo. I was in my backyard. I had my D500, my 70-200mm lens, locked at 200mm. And when I say locked, I mean like it was set at 200mm, not actually locked, because I don't think you can lock it. But the same conditions as last week. And incidentally, I had it on continuous high-speed shutter all the entire time, which is probably why I got over 700 shots in half an hour. These birds do not stay in one place for very long. They're kind of skittish for good reason. And so when one of them would drop a light, drop down on this fence in my backyard, I would just fire off a ton of photos. And it didn't take, it was just a matter of seconds or half seconds until they had hopped off and flown somewhere else. So this picture, it looks like this bird is calmly sitting there contemplating life. She was only here for a second and a half, and then she was gone. And it was really fun to take this picture because all these elements came together. You'll notice something I didn't talk about last week. The lighting is just great. The sun is low on the horizon, and that was, I don't know anything about birds, so feeding patterns or anything like that. Maybe that was one reason that the mother and father were around so much in this particular evening. Maybe it was a good time to look for food for their babies in their nest. But whatever reason, the lighting, the fact that the sun was so low on the horizon, the time of day, the lighting is just great here. You see that sparkle in her eye. She's nice, evenly lit. Her right-hand side is a little, well, actually, it'd be her left-hand side. But on the right-hand side of the photo, it's just a little brighter. But then that means the beak sort of catches the light, and you get that glint of light in her eye. It's interesting to see the features of this bird compared to the male from last week. So her beak is just a little smaller. Her mohawk, as my son called it, is just a little smaller. And I don't know anything about birds. So if anyone knows stuff about birds and has more useful things to say, please feel free to say so in the comments. I just think this is a fun picture to take. And something I didn't mention last week, this photo, it was a good reminder of the time that I got to spend with my kids in the backyard. So quarantine, coronavirus, we were at home for a really long time, not going anywhere. And one of the nice things about that was we got to spend a lot more time with our kids than we usually do, especially during the day. And that's when we first noticed these cardinals, and it gave me the idea of taking this shot in the first place. So along with this photo of a bird, it's a memory of some a really singular time in my life, the quarantine time, and some really fun experiences that I got to have with my kids, which makes it, someone else is going to see this and see a photo of a cardinal. I see this and I think of a lot of time spent with my kids, and that makes it just a little more special.